You know, it's crazy how these $70,000 teeth are coming back to haunt Kelly. And to be honest with you, I can't even say that I really see that much of a difference with the teeth. I always think it's nice that you can get $70,000 worth of teeth, but did you need $70,000 worth of teeth? Let's get into what's going on and what the people are saying, okay? That's going to be the key right now. What's actually happening? Okay, so some sad news for Kelly from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. The headline from our friends over at the Bravoshaderoom reads, Kelly Potter's wages are at risk of being garnished due to unpaid debt. Kelly failed to respond to a lawsuit filed in 2025, and a default court judgment was entered against her in the amount of 200. The judgment continues to accrue interest each day, and the creditor has also issued subpoenas to several banks to determine whether she has funds in her account that can be seized. Well, what we do know is that $70,000 is in her mouth. Okay? That's what we do know. 70,000 is in her mouth. So, let's read what we have here. According to these docs obtained by TMZ, because TMZ always gets the docs, a company named ARF Financial sued Kelly and her restaurant, Nana's Chicken and Waffles, in 2025. So she failed to respond to the suit, and a default judgment was entered against her in the amount of $217,000, which grows with interest every day. That's a lot. The creditor is firing off subpoenas to various banks to see if Kelly has any money in these accounts to seize. Now, a rep for Kelly tells TMZ this matter stems from a business loan that Kelly and her ex-husband, Mr. Farrell, obtained over the 5 years while married. And the rep claims that the matter was addressed during the divorce proceedings, where Kelly argued Mark should be responsible for the debt. Mark denied Kelly's claims. But Kelly's rep says, we are confident that this legal matter will be rightfully resolved, but as of now, Kelly hasn't been officially served. So at least there's that. She hasn't been officially served. But the people on social media, they have a lot that they're wondering about. Shout out to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk for picking up some of the commentary. And this is what people are asking. One person says, I can't believe Kelly stepped on the Real Housewives of Atlanta scene, trying to keep up with the Joneses, buying her daughter 16 luxury bags, talking about her dog's multiple $1,000 spa days with an entire glam squad in tow, just for her to the next season be homeless, restaurant foreclosed, wages about to be garnished, but she's got a $70,000 set of new teeth, baby. Baby, when I say the priorities are in the dumps, why would the lady not be hosting viewing parties at Nana's Chicken every Sunday for the whole season to get more money and people in the door? Like, girl, WTF? That is a good question. I'm not sure what she's doing about these restaurants at this point. I've seen her do several media interviews in the restaurant, so maybe that's one of the ways that she is thinking that she will help promote the business. I'm not really sure. Someone else says, Phaedra was right. She should have taken that $70,000 and paid her bills. I agree with this one, mostly because I don't necessarily know that she needed the new teeth right now, unless the teeth were falling out. But even still, there is some good dentists out there that could have probably taken care of that for her. Maybe Dr. Heavenly, we could give her a call. I'm not really sure. So another person says, and bothering Portia about Simon's house, at least she's still in it, regardless of how she got it. I hope she makes it out well, but girl. Someone else says, shoot, she should have, like I said, asked Dr. Heavenly, could she do some promo and Dr. Heavenly do her teeth? Have a watch party on Sundays for football. Have a watch party for new episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Married to Medicine. But no, she wanted $70,000 on teeth. Dingy. Another person says she was incredibly judgmental of the other women when it came to their finances too. Like, why was she talking about Portia's home when she can barely afford a place? Another person says, really tried to impress the ladies to end up this broke is effing ridiculous. Another person says when Phaedra was on Watch What Happens Live and Andy was asking her reunion tidbits, she said Kelli received the hardest line of questioning from him. I just know he got in those $70,000 teeth about, well, the $70,000 teeth. Someone else say, I must say I peeped the wannabe energy very early. Like she was way too excited and hearty about having a team. This is probably one of the interesting of the show is that the show is supposed to display lifestyle and wealth. At least that's what it started off as, and that's typically what we want to see. But as Phaedra has mentioned in one of her interviews, I got to go back and find it. She said that there was a lot of rich broke this season. But Phaedra also says that she would have been more worried about the home she stays in than a dirty room because the girls are in jeopardy of losing theirs. Now, this is a direct knock at Kelli and or Shamia. And she does this on the Mention It All podcast. And shout out to our friends over at No Chaser TV for catching this. She goes on to call Cynthia God's assistant. She says, how dare they come at Cynthia, who was practically God's assistant? I will admit, I do agree with Phaedra about getting taking that 69,000, okay, getting some Crest White strips and using the rest of that money to pay off some bills. I do agree with that, especially if you got it. I think that's probably the thing that most people are really like screaming about right now. It seems so odd for this mystery man to gift you $70,000 worth of dental work instead of the $70,000 because it sounds like she could use it right now. And that's not a read, that's a fact, right? And so the thing I do have an issue with Phaedra is about the dirty room. Phaedra, no one's going to sleep in a dirty room. I don't understand why anybody, even if she doesn't, even if she can't afford the home that she was living in, that doesn't mean that anybody on this show deserves a dirty room. And I don't think that they gave Cynthia a hard enough time, to be quite honest with you, because if the tables were turned and you were in a dirty room, I think that you would have a conniption and I think you would have demanded something different. But the fact of the matter is, Cynthia wasn't going to give an OG any type of room that wasn't in that main house. So it didn't really matter what type of room y'all got because y'all know it was going to be clean. But the fact of the matter is, those folks had a dirty room. I wish they would have lit into her like they lit into Angel on the Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay. Now, granted, their room when they were in Colorado was definitely 10 times worse because they ain't have no running water. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not staying in a dirty room in nobody's house, in nobody's hotel, none of that. And I don't think that they should be expected to do so either. And the fact that they had complaints because they wanted to get it fixed, I think it's foul to try to make them feel, to gaslight them and to try to making them feel like they should be happy for a dirty room. Who wants that? Okay. Who does that? Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below. Side note, y'all, today is my birthday. So I will be out celebrating. And in order to celebrate even further, y'all, if you wanted to get in on one of the faceless courses, guess what? Today and today only, it's on sale. So you could tap in the link in the description down below and grab it. My gift to you. With that being said, I love you, and I'll catch you in the next video.